Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Thank you so kindly for being part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. How is the volume level today? I think I got it adjusted by pointing it correctly. Let me know if this is just fine for you today. We are going to have a great show for you today as usual. But then again, what am I supposed to say? Just the truth. We're going to have a great show for you today. Thank you so kindly for being here. Let me first tell you that I was watching Biden. He's in Pittsburgh right now, and as you know, a bridge fell down, infrastructure problems, of course. Norman Reynolds, numero uno, numero dos, welcome aboard. Of course, AVQ here without his regular narrative, because what happened? AVQ says, I've been away all day today, just got home. Hey, how is your uncle? I think it's your uncle. How's your uncle doing? Is he doing better? Has he gotten better? Is he in better spirits? Let us know. You know we care about our peeps. We care about our family here. Let us know how he's doing, Mr. Rudnin. I am pretty sure all is going to be just fine. Anyway, make yourself available. Make yourself aware. Go ahead and say hello so that I can go ahead and salute you. You know I like to call out everybody as they come. We're going to have a great show today. But anyhow, I was listening to Uncle Vena is doing better. Thanks. I'm great that Uncle Vena is getting better. Anyhow, folks, I was listening to Biden. And Biden, first of all, we're going to play some stuff from Psaki that kind of talks about how the economy is doing, etc., etc., etc. But most importantly, what is interesting is what some of the things that Biden saw or talks about. He's talking about the government investing money in Pittsburgh. They have all those abandoned wells. People that dug those wells and made a whole bunch of money on those wells. And guess what's happening? We the people are going to pay high salaries to cap those wells. A good thing. Stop the methane from going into the air. But let's also realize, people, that these are the same folks who, when they were making money, they were making tons of money, digging those wells and making the money from the gas and the oil, etc., etc. They didn't want to pay taxes. But who's going to clean it up now to make sure that the groundwater is not continuously polluted, to make sure that the air is not continuously polluted? We the people. Biden is giving money to cap those wells. Biden said, I am a capitalist. If somebody wants to make $1 billion, let them go make that $1 billion. I don't have a problem. Just pay your fair share. Yes, I agree. But also remember that $1 billion, where is it really coming from? Where is it coming from again? You. And those are the things that I try to get in our heads, because as we have the sycophants and those people who buy the ridiculous stories from our plutocracy, we are always trying to protect the rich. We're trying to protect those rich people from paying taxes because, they are the job creators. But remember, they're the polluters. They're the ones that make money and then force us to clean up afterwards. So I'm listening to Biden's speech and I'm like, I am happy that those people in Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania are going to get all those wells capped. I am so happy that the infrastructure bill got passed. Because, bridges in America, the number one country in the world, they're falling down like one did today. But they don't want to pay taxes. They don't want to. So why aren't we making these stories in the fashion, instead of being apologetic as Biden was? Oh, I am a capitalist, Biden says, but pay your fair share, please. No, let's call out these thugs for what they are. And Psaki did it. I'm going to play a piece from Psaki. She didn't do it as harsh as I would. That the inflation inflation is being caused by the corporate greed. Inflation is being caused by the corporate negligence. Inflation is being caused by things created by the corporation, not by the government, not by we the people. Anyway, Michael Rudnin says, there are more than 617,000 bridges across the United States. Currently, 42% of all bridges are at least 50 years old, and 46,154, or 7.5% of the nation's bridges, are considered structurally deficient, meaning they are in poor condition. Unfortunately, 178 million trips are taken across these structurally deficient bridges every single day. He also says, from April 2020, Biden plan would spend $16 billion to clean up old mines, oil wells, hundreds of thousands of orphaned oil and gas wells and abandoned coal and hard rock mines pose serious safety hazards while causing ongoing environmental damage. The administration sees the long-standing problem as an opportunity to create jobs and remediate pollution, including greenhouse gases that contribute to global warming. But who pays for it? Why are we going back to find out who owned all those wells and build the holy hell out of them, tax them to pay the bill for the mess they're leaving behind? We don't do that. Corporations like socialism when it's time to clean up. Right? So why aren't Democrats making the case? Well, yesterday, my wife called me up and said, have you seen the news? 3 more police officers shot in Harris County. All these guns that we have, the wild, wild west in Texas. What? In Texas, you can get a gun without permits, all that kind of crap, guns, guns, guns. Now it's killing the cops. Cops tend to be very Republican, right? Cops tend to love that sort of stuff. So anyhow, when she said that, I kind of got into my zone. I said, why aren't Democrats talking about this? So check out what I did yesterday, and then we'll take it on the other side. I think I did it yesterday. We'll take it on the other side. Here's a message for my Texas Democrats, and to put it bluntly, Democrats all over this country. I received a call from my wife that says, it's the wild, wild west here in Harris County, Texas. We just have police getting shot up by guns, etc., etc., etc. And of course, we know the violence by guns, it's getting worse around the country, etc. Now, Democrats are concerned about whether they'll hold the House, whether they will win state senates, whether they will do all these things. But we know that Democrats and progressives have the values that people want. But the one thing that happens is that people don't know. People don't understand who is really fighting for them. So I have a question to Democrats. With all these things being shown today that let us know, that informs us that the policies that we want work, and the policies are proven not to work in the red states, etc., why are we so silent? Why are we raising hell about the violence that is occurring with guns? With all these guns here in Texas, you just go get a gun. You don't even need a license. Why aren't we talking about all these sick people that in as much as we have the money, the federal government wants to give Texas the money to get the people healed? Why aren't we raising hell on every single network to say, hey, the Republicans are killing you. Your Republican representatives are killing you. Where are those ads? Why aren't we fighting with the passion, telling the American people, telling Texans, we want to do what's right by you? The other side, those who are on the right, they love to say, are called progressives and liberals, snowflakes. One has to wonder if they're not calling us snowflakes because they are concerned about everything hurting us, but snowflakes because we refuse to engage the way we should. They lie about what they do. All we have to do is tell the truth, and telling the truth will win the vote if we do it. Why aren't we? And that's the question. Why aren't we? It's on our side. John Smith, welcome to Politics Done Right. Melanie Keaton, good Friday to all, she says. John Smith says, when the economy tanks by July, what will you say then, Egberto? I mean, all this stuff that's being spoken about on the right, I don't know if you guys don't get tired. I don't know if you guys don't get tired of just being misled and the grifting that occurs. They use you on the right. If you're on the right, I'm assuming John Smith. They really use the right to just get money off them. They scare you about vaccine. They get you killed by not getting the vaccines as they sell you all kinds of drugs that don't really work. If you notice, The people are dying in the red state at much larger or faster rates than anywhere else, Mr. Smith, because those people choose to follow the ridiculous notions placed by a whole bunch of right-wing leaders who themselves are vaccinated, but are trying to tell their people not to get vaccinated so that they can then make some money off of the people who decide to follow them. Think about that. No, Michael, there's no crash on my end. I am still seeing myself on YouTube. I still see myself, I think, on... let me make sure and go to the other network. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyhow, so Mr. Let me tell you, John Smith, maybe there's something made you come here. Because I love you, brother. I want to save your life. All the numbers, and numbers are... I'm an engineer by training, John Smith. I only believe in numbers. None of the crap that people talk makes sense to me unless the numbers add up. And if you see those people who are not vaccinated are dying at 10 times the rate of those vaccinated, it should tell you something. Also, if you see that these people who are telling you not to get vaccinated, or that it's your choice, or that let's not worry about mandates, when Fox News has mandates for you to work for Fox News, if you want to be in that studio, you have to be vaccinated or forever testing. Fox News, the people that are telling you not to be vaccinated. You can't go into Fox News without vaccine. Okay? And now Mr. Smith says, Egberto, don't tell me about vaccines. I had them and still got COVID, then was told a government hospital to go home and self-quarantine. It nearly killed me. Guess what? It didn't. Had you not had it, you wouldn't be here talking to me today. Again, it's math and it is science. Unfortunately, the right teaches the people who follow them to be unintellectual, to not follow the math, to not follow science. So your individual experience of it nearly killed me was just that you got sick as hell but didn't die. But most of the people who didn't get vaccinated, you know what? They died. So you can choose, my friend, to wallow yourself, my dear brother, wallow yourself into the fallacies of the right. Okay? And go get ivermectin and zinc, if you will. But that is what has gotten most people killed, not healed. You know, a lot of people come on their deathbeds, they're asking, can I have the vaccine now? Can I have the vaccine now? Your choice, John Smith. You can decide to be anti-intellectual. You can decide to not follow math. You can decide to believe the charlatans that you follow, who themselves are vaccinated, who themselves follow good etiquette, who themselves follow the rules. But you, they don't care about you. They don't give a hell about you. Well, I would have saved me all the crap I had to go through. You keep believing that because the statistics and the numbers says otherwise, Mr. John Smith. So John Smith, don't follow the rules. You keep following the right. They'll take you 6 feet under. All right. Rudnin had one other thing I want to read. UN Environmental Global Assessment urgent steps must be taken to reduce methane emissions this decade. On April 29th, the U.S. Senate passed a bipartisan vote to reinstate Obama-era regulations to control leaks from oil and gas wells. It requires companies to monitor, plug, and capture methane from new drilling. During President Joe Biden's Leaders Summit on Climate, April 22nd, 23rd, leaders call for reduction in methane. All right, let's see. Carl Cox, welcome aboard. It says, if Democrats don't raise hell on issues about the Affordable Care Act for all, gun safety laws, workers, consumer rights, they will lose. They definitely will. All right, let's see. Eric Hayes says, actually, it's them policy on these big cities getting people killed as the leaders are blue. You keep believing that crap. What's getting people killed is irresponsible policies by Republican politicians who just have us with a laissez-faire gun mentality, with a laissez-faire anti-regulation mentality, just assuming let's just do as we please. The little thing is this. You hear about concentrated crime where there are a lot of people living close together in big cities, etc. What you don't hear that in the thousands and thousands of little towns in America. One person gets killed here, another one gets killed there, another one gets killed here. If you aggregate rural area murders, rural area killings, go take the numbers and you will get a shocking statistic by percentage. Okay, like I said, I believe in numbers only. All right, numbers only. And Eric says numbers of people being murdered by thugs let out on low bonds. Well, we see our debt increasing. Yeah, but the largest group of thugs are in Austin, Texas, in our state house, because they cause about 2,200 deaths every single year because they refuse to give people the health care that they already have paid for. Okay? Eric is great source of info on people murdering in Houston. Numbers don't lie. They don't lie, including that the guns that they use came from whom? The manufacturers of the guns, right? And who manufactures guns and who do they support? So who should be guilty? I rest my case. John Smith says, Egberto, aware that you want Medicare for all, but you want to block any treatments I would like. I want you to have as much whatever treatment you like, John. If you want to take horse manure, I would support you taking horse manure. What I don't support is you being unvaccinated and want to be in my presence. That I don't want. You want to be my presence? And when I say my presence, I don't mean the presence of Egberto. I mean the presence of sensible people who got vaccinated. I don't want you around us. Stay in your... Because if all you unvaccinated people had stayed away from us, we wouldn't have infiltrated or breakthroughs. You guys are guilty. You guys are the ones causing these breakthroughs. Stay home. Stay away from us. I love you, but I don't want your disease. Stay away. Michael Rudnin says, there is some evidence that zinc helps your body fight a cold, but scientists don't know if it helps ease it. Look, I don't doubt that good health will keep you away from getting a serious case of COVID, or even if you get it not being that bad. Good health is a good thing. That's fine. All I am saying is, most of the people who die from COVID are the ones who are obese. Okay, that we know, but that's not the point. The point I am trying to drive home is we have vaccinations for polio, smallpox, all these things to protect us as a society. This nutcase about not wanting to take a vaccine because of COVID-19 and all the crap that the right wing is making a whole lot of money on, they're killers. They're assassins. They're murderers. Anybody who's telling or encouraging people not to have a mandate or not to take the drug, the vaccine, they're murdering killers, assassins. That's who they are. They've killed a lot of people. Tom C. says Biden must replace South Carolina Justice Breyer ASAP before a Democratic senator either dies or switches parties. I love you, Tom. I thought that exact same thing. McConnell, as Senate Majority Leader, would block Biden's South Carolina Supreme Court choice forever. I saw that, man. I've been thinking about that, brother Tom. E2247 says, Eric, there are sources that other than Fox check that, if something comes from Fox, I always know disregard. Let's see. Michael Rodney says, Eric Hayes, actually, yes, we are going to have to limit our beef consumption in the near future. Eating less red meat is something individuals can do to help climate crisis or climate problem is big, but a person's diet can make a big impact. Eric Hayes says, Egberto unvaccinated won't kill you as you are vaccinated. That's not the point. I don't want to get the disease because of these irresponsible vaccinators. Period. Punto y final. John Smith says, since I was vaccinated and had COVID-19 and was near you, could you have gotten it? Yes, I could have gotten it. Because, again, not because of you. You were responsible, John Smith. You got the vaccination. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your good work. But because of the unvaccinated people, you got it. You shouldn't be trying to get mad at me for saying go get vaccinated. You should be pissed as hell that you did the responsible thing and had to get a breakthrough because those kluts who decided not to get it allowed this virus to mutate, which made your your vaccination less effective than it would have been for the original variant. It's science, Brother John Smith. You did the right thing. Don't complain that you got the virus because of the irresponsible people that cared nothing about you that you surrounded yourself by. Okay? Still love you, brother, but I don't want to be around you because it seemed like you have company that is detrimental to our health. Now look, I could get the virus tomorrow. I could get it tomorrow. But it wouldn't be because of irresponsibility for the most part. Bruce Pollard says, hello, today is a good day. It is a wonderful day, Bruce. E2247 says, Michael gets a crowd cheer. Huzzah. John Smith says, you are full of it, Egberto. You know I'm not full of it, John. If you decided to have critical thinking, if you decided to be objective, and I think that's the reason you're here. If you decided to be objective, you'd understand that what I'm saying is absolutely true. Period. Punto y final. All right, Eric A says, quit going to McDonald's and getting that Diet Coke with your Big Mac and you can live longer. Maybe, but actually McDonald's food is pretty good. I was talking to my daughter saying, I don't want to admit it too often, but McDonald's food, the flavor is good. That corporate food, they have good engineers creating good food. Like I said, engineers do good things. It's just a corporate section that corrupts, and the corporate sector that causes, that corrupts, and that's a thuggery part of it. Norman Reynolds says, getting a driver's license does not prevent us from having an accident, but we get one as those with one are less likely to cause us to have an accident. Norman, I never put it that way, but you're absolutely right. John Smith, if you're vaccinated, you're 10 times less likely to be hospitalized or end up in a pine box for COVID. Right now, 99% of COVID hospitalizations are unvaccinated. John Smith says, you are killing people by having government block treatments that work. Again, John Smith, it's a lie. The treatments don't work. They don't. The people that tells you they work are lying to you. Learn. Eric Hayes says, Rudnin, it was a joke. Michael Rudnin says, Eric Hayes, unfunny enough. All right, John Smith says, AVQ, that's no longer true due to mutated virus. The virus keeps mutating. All right. The vaccines don't really work anymore, and that is not true. They reduce the severity of the disease because the immune system does not have to fight as hard to find the right antidote to kill it. Ting, ting! My body, my choice only works for abortions. I see the sarcasm, Ting Ting. I see the sarcasm. Welcome, Ting Ting. I didn't say you welcome before. And John Smith says, abortion, 2 people go in, only 1 comes out. Oh, wow, you have a joke. Egberto, wow. You like McDonald's? I am shocked. Why are you shocked? I like good cheap food. Egberto, that's your opinion, not based on any science. No, it's not. It's based on science, sir. There are studies. You can look it up. And that's what drives me crazy. There are double-blinded studies that show ivermectin doesn't work. There are double-blinded studies that show even the new form of that stuff that they inject in you, the liquid that they inject in you for the Omicron doesn't work, so now it's off the market. Ashley Willis says, we wear seatbelts in cars. Can we get into an accident despite we being buckled in? Yes, we can. Of course we can. Of course we can. Yes, we can. Thank you, my beautiful daughter who is listening. Muchísimas gracias, corazón. But anyhow, I want to have a little piece here for you guys. I first started out by giving you Jen Psaki, but let me go ahead and give you a little bit something on our economy. Because the right wing has been lying about the economy. The right wing has been lying about inflation. And what gets me is that even though Psaki kind of hit the inflation a bit here, I'll tell you what, before I go to Psaki, I may want to go to what's his name? And I don't think I queued it up, but I'm going to look to try to queue it up right now. Ezra Klein, because Ezra Klein said it best. Ezra Klein give the analysis, so I want to give Ezra Klein's analysis first, and then we'll go into Psaki. What Ezra Klein is trying to tell us? Ezra Klein is saying, hey, the Biden stimulus worked. It really took kids out of poverty. It did a whole lot, but because of traitors, because of people who don't care about anybody else but themselves, like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema and every single Republican senator and every single Republican congressperson in Washington. Because of them, the people that we took out of poverty with the policies that Biden did with the rescue plan could suffer. But at the same time as now, people have more money in their checkbooks. Check out what Ezra Klein said, and then we'll take it en el otro lado for you to give us a little thoughts on that.
Even without Build Back Better, ordinary Americans are better off now economically. You point out in your piece that JP Morgan Chase analysis found the median household's checking account balance was 50% higher in July 2021 than in the months before the pandemic. That's astonishing. Why isn't that translating into a higher approval rating for President Biden?
It's a really striking finding. So you got to think about what the Biden administration did on two levels. One, they tried to not allow the mistakes of 2009 to 2010 to repeat. So when they came in, building on the CARES Act, which had passed before them, they passed the American Rescue Plan, then later the Infrastructure Act. And that was a huge infusion of demand into the economy, huge transfers, the stimulus, the child tax credit, a ton more in those bills. And so you put that together with a very, very hot labor market they helped create alongside the Federal Reserve, and you get these numbers: very low unemployment, very high ability to quit and get another job, higher asset levels. The thing they did not anticipate is pretty high inflation. And so the danger that actually does truly darken the economic outlook for them in the next year is those transfers are not happening again. You're not going to have another stimulus this year. Right now, the child tax credit is set to expire, has expired, will not be renewed. And so if that happens and inflation does not come down, you are going to see people end the year worse off. And people are feeling a lot of that. People hate inflation. They hate seeing gas prices that high. And it is very much obscuring very real economic successes they have on their record.
And that's the point. They want to eliminate the economic successes because that which caused the economic success is what the right wing like to call socialism. But what it is good economic policy. You put Keynesian economics says in times of stress, you you insert within the market monies, you insert within the market the ability for people to spend, and those who are more in need will immediately spend it. It's so important, but what we have is Mansion Cinema. Every single right-wing Republican senator, every single right-wing Democratic congressperson voted against it. So what they're saying is the poor people in Appalachia, Republican and Democrat alike, go starve. The poor people throughout the country, the people in the middle class who the Omicron is affecting, to hell with you. We don't care about you, even though we could pass this without being inflationary, as all the economists are saying. Passing Build Back Better would not be inflationary. But so what we do in December was the last check that people who have kids and needed a tax credit, the last check they received. How great it is to be one of those elitist, confounded senators who care nothing about people. Well, you know, the economy is still flying on all cylinders, right? And Jen Psaki came out and she did an interview last night on the 11th hour, and she pointed this out. Most importantly, she slightly slammed on the corporatocracy, who are the real guilty ones for inflation as we are seeing it right now. Let's go ahead and listen to Jen Psaki, and then we'll take it on the other side.
The US economy saw sizable growth in the fourth quarter of last year. That caps off the strongest year of economic growth in nearly 4 decades. Yet voters remain pessimistic about the economy. The New York Times puts it this way, quote, inflation is running at its fastest pace since 1982, eroding gains and eating away paychecks as even robust wage increases struggle to keep pace. And despite vaccines, life has yet to return to normal in the way many people once expected. We're pleased to welcome to the broadcast tonight White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. It must be frustrating for you to see these record growth numbers, record jobs numbers, and then see a majority of Americans still don't have confidence in Joe Biden's handling of the economy. 2 out of 3 Americans think the economy is getting worse, not better. Is that a messaging failure on Joe Biden's part, on your administration's part?
It's a COVID challenge, Mehdi. I mean, look, I think we can celebrate, and I know you just talked a little bit about this, the fact that we haven't had this kind of economic growth in 37 years. I mean, I was in preschool at that point in time. That's exciting. We're growing at a faster rate than China for the first time in 20 years. That's good. We're at record low unemployment rates. That's good. What we also know, though, is that we're still fighting a pandemic that is very much tied to inflation, is impacting issues like supply chain challenges we're seeing around around the world and is impacting also the psyche of the American public. And we know that is playing out in terms of how people feel about the economy and how they feel about their circumstances right now.
You didn't mention the word inflation. You would include inflation in that as well.
Of course. Look, I think it's important, though, for people to know and understand inflation is caused by a number of issues. And if we talk about inflation, we really mean the costs and how they're impacting people in their everyday lives, right? So if you look at the supply chain, we know that's so tied to the pandemic. We're obviously fighting the Omicron variant right now, the uptick of the Omicron variant. We know that a lot of countries around the world are fighting that. That means that while the global supply chain brings costs down in the United States, if there's a manufacturing hub that's shut down in Asia and Malaysia or China or anywhere, that can mean we won't get those goods. And that can mean that prices go up. So we need to get the pandemic under control from a global perspective in order to make sure supply chains are working as they should, while also getting ports going, which we've made a lot of progress on. There are a couple of other issues which we've been working on at the same time. One is 1/3 of the inflationary pressure is the result of car prices. If you're trying to buy a car right now, they're expensive. A big part of that is because we're not manufacturing enough cars in the United States because we don't have enough chips here, right? We need more manufacturing capacity in the United States. So that's something that part of this bill, this competition bill that's moving its way through Congress, hopefully soon, is going to help solve over the long term. But cars is a big part of it. And let me just want to do one more piece, Maddie, because I think you'll like briefly. This one. This one is where businesses, big companies like meat manufacturers and conglomerates are taking advantage of this moment and jacking up prices for consumers. So we also have to watch that as well. These are all factors that are impacting people's costs.
Now, she only used the last 15 seconds to slam the corporatocracy, but I'll take it. In other words, the definition of inflation is price increases, right? That's inflation. But you should only get these inordinate price increases whenever there are more dollars chasing a particular product. But that's not the case. We don't have a problem with meat. We don't have a problem with a whole variety of products which the corporatocracy has increased in price. They are just thugs. They decided, we can make more money, so they increased their prices. There is absolutely no reason to do it. And because there are so many monopolies around, and because Omicron has a whole lot of small businesses and competing businesses closed, they have absolute power, even without shortages, to force their prices on to people. Now, what we need, like I said before, is government regulation to prevent all of that from happening. It can occur, but here's the deal. Once you do that, the thing called capitalism is not capitalism anymore. It's free enterprise, regulated, very well regulated. And that is what we're talking about. The thugs, the corporate thugs. And for all those that are always there protecting corporations, let me tell you about these thugs. Wearing a suit and a tie while you are starving people. There's nothing virtuous about that. That is thuggery. That is, and when people die, that is premeditated murder. Okay, we have an economic system right now that allows people to abstract their evil behind the economic rules that we tolerate. Allowing people to die because they don't have health care, allowing all these types of issues. So let's get clear here, people. Do not fall for the crap. Do not fall for the crap. But why is it that so many Americans fall for it? I listen to MSNBC on YouTube TV. I don't use regular cable anymore. Everything is done over the internet, YouTube TV. I can get CNN, I can get Fox News, all of that, right? And it turns out that Fox News is buying advertising on all these different channels on YouTube TV. And I want you to see an ad that came out that, my daughter passed by and she said, "Wait, I thought you're watching MSNBC, Dad." So yeah, I'm watching MSNBC. And that's what you saw? I want you guys to see this ad. Because this is why we have the John Smiths and the Eric Hayes and the Daniel Ledo. Because this is their channels and they have these well-organized, psychologically placed things. So many of them get hoodwinked into thinking the way they do. Check this out.
Join me as we uncover the miseducation of America on Fox Nation.
As progressives invade American classrooms, how can we protect our children and country? Watch The Miseducation of America, available now. And if you missed our live summit, you can stream it now.
We spend
about the miseducation of America. The miseducation of America. All right? And that's an ad on that it would seem to be on MSNBC. What happens is all these different carriers, right? They carry the different programs, but in between there are slots for them to sell their own advertising. So they just happen to be YouTube TV in this DC market, just happen to sell advertising to whoever wants to buy it. And there on the MSNBC channel is a Fox News commercial, the misinformation of Americans. No, the ones who misinform Americans are Fox News, the ones that's getting Americans killed. Fox News, the ones who are getting Americans terrorized, their finances hurt. Fox News, OAN, and others, right? That's what we're looking at. Anyhow, folks, let me go back to some of what you're saying here. Egberto, senators, or let's see, para ver. John Cox says, John Smith is the king of clueless people. Michael Rodden says, it's often said that government is a prayer of the last resort. True. And right now we have a whole lot of things that the private sector won't pay for. Mitigating global warming before it gets out of humanity's control being the top one on the list. Hey, says Egberto, all senators are elite, or so they think. E2247 says vaccines and masking and social distances are like the redundant fail-safe system on the F-35, but work better than those do. Ting Ting says, John Smith, I'm playing nearer, my God, to thee, my violin, as the Titanic is sinking as the rats jump off the boat. Eric Hayes says, voters have a chance to level set this administration in November. Remember that, yes. And what I'm saying, as I said in the first piece that I played, if Democrats just put blame where blame belongs, if Democrats let Americans know that Republicans are a clear and present danger to their personal economy and their health, they can't help but win in a landslide. This belief that it is cooked, that somehow Republicans are going to take over the House and possibly the Senate, we can turn that around completely and actually get super majorities in the Senate and the House if we go ahead and are not scared to tell the truth. But you have to remember, there are a lot of neoliberal Democrats that are running that are scared to say certain things, because if they say certain things against the corporations would then come against them, even as they're doing what is supposed to be the right thing. John Smith says, government and Federal Reserve are the culprits. I think you better go ahead and learn exactly how that works, because you'll see right away that the culprits are in fact the corporate structure. In fact, they're the ones who created different types of paper, derivatives, and not only derivatives, but credit default swaps that almost tanked not only the United States economy, but the world's economy by creating redundant and recircled insurance policies. In other words, if I had a piece of stock, I wanted to insure that stock from a loss, I bought insurance from Company A. Company A said, oh, I need to protect myself in case that guy who bought insurance from me, so I buy it from insurance number B. And when B says, I want to protect myself, so I buy the insurance from C. And then C says, I want to protect myself, so then I buy the insurance from A. So when A fails, he goes to B. B fails, they go to C. C fails, goes to A, but C can't collect anything because A has already failed and it's waiting to collect from B. B is waiting for C, and we get what's called the deadly embrace. And that is what the geniuses of our capitalist system did. The geniuses of this system that you so believe in. That is what we allow to occur in a system. I said it in a simplistic fashion. It's a lot more complex than that in the way they put mortgages together and all that sort of thing. But you know, you won't know that because there's nobody out there on Fox News or even CNN and MSNBC telling you all about this stuff in any continual manner so that you would absorb and understand the evil within those people who control paper. They just move paper, but they make no money, they make no products, they provide no services, they just use money to make money on your backs. I mean, one of the things that I try to do with my books, and actually let me go ahead and play promo for my books, and then I'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit. Berto Willis, as host of Politics Done Right, a progressive radio media show on Pacifica Network's KPFT 90.1 FM Houston that engages all ideologies, I found that our political angst isn't mostly ideological. There is a well-designed effort by many in power to control us. If we are at each other's throats, we are less likely to demand our economic and local wishes. In that light, I wrote 3 books. I wrote the first one titled, As I See It, Class Warfare, the Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, to describe the entire economy in a manner we can all understand. It highlights why it was designed to pilfer most as it empowers a few, the chosen. The second book, titled, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, take it to the next level. After understanding how the system pilfers, it is incumbent that we can speak to our peers to empower a change. The third book, How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, gives us a place to land. After learning about our economy that is dysfunctional for most and learning how to engage the other side, we point out what would make an economy that works for all. Each book stands on its own, but together they provide the full picture. Please consider getting one or more. You will undoubtedly learn, be entertained, and help us continue the mission with our blogs, articles, videos, and books. I'm Egberto Willis, as host of Politics Done Right. Oh, it started to repeat. But we actually arrested it. Anyhow, folks, this is the time now for me to ask you to support the show. Please, if you are listening to us on YouTube, please go ahead and click that join button. Become a part of our PDR posse. We need you. We need to have you support the show. We want to ask you so kindly to do so that we can provide this information. Many of it that's not provided at all. Because again, why is it again? Because we don't want Americans to be too smart. Because if they become too smart, they realize that they've been pilfered decade after decade after decade, that we have an economic system that runs on their back as we continue to extract from them. So again, please go and click that join button if you are on YouTube right now. If you're on some other platform, let's say you are on Facebook Live or Twitter or Twitch, go to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, and please go ahead and become a part of our YouTube posse. Alternatively, you can support us on Patreon. Patreon is spelled Patreon, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon, Patreon. That's another form of support that you can provide to us. Of course, the best one, the one that the company takes the least out of, is politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. Support us via PayPal, either one-time contribution, or you can provide it month over month, like many do. But again, we cannot do this without you. I thank you for being the ones who have made this happen and continue to allow this to happen. Don't forget, you can shop at our store as well, politicsdoneright.com/store, politicsdoneright.com/store. You can get our hoodies, you can get our t-shirts, you can get our masks, all that good stuff with the logo on it to help us promote the store. To promote the program, to promote learning, etc. You can get all our books at politicsdoneright.com/books. politicsdoneright.com/books. We explain all these issues that we talk about, from how the patent system is used to screw us, to how the economy works, and then how to talk to people that initially don't believe the things that you're saying, how to get them to pick it up and learn it on their own. That's the book that I have called It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relative, Friends, and Neighbor. And then, of course, after you tell people what's wrong with the economy, how it works, etc., after you've found a way on how to talk to people, the last thing is imagining America as a utopia. What do we need to do so that everybody has equal access to success? Not everybody is have equal earnings or anything, because some people don't want to work as hard as somebody else, but everybody having equal access to success, right? That's what we want. That's all we want. Equal access to success. So go ahead and go to politicsdoneright.com/books. And by the way, to catch all to support us, it's at politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. Anyhow, we have, let me go to you guys, and then I'll come back with the last video. Egberto, the prime example of Dunning-Kruger effect. I don't know what that is, so you gave me some homework, I guess, John Smith. But anyhow, I look like I got down there too early. Let me continue down. Let's see. Government and Federal Reserve is culprits. That's not a truth at all. Ting Ting says, Margarita sounds good about now. BOT. Peggy Lopez says, hi all. Hello, Peggy. How are you doing, my dear friend? Carl Cox says, GOP and conservative Democrats work for their masters, the mega rich and the mega corporations. We're talking about the neoliberal Democrats, sir, because we have the squad and others that are true progressives. That's not the case. Eric Hayes says, meat costs are being jacked up due to the shortages. Yes, then no. Again, I can't beg you to eat the truth, but I can at least continue to talk about it. Ting Ting says, China will be angry if Russia invades Ukraine before the Olympics is over. John Smith says, Egberto, the prime example of Dunning-Kruger effect. I don't know what that is, so I guess I get to do some research on that. Carl Cox says, manufacturing overseas to pay slave low wages cause shortages. Yeah, not only that, they're infected, right? So we get the supply chain, but because we have just-in-time JIT inventory in America, if there's a supply chain issue, everything gets out of whack because of the greed of these corporate titans who are not all that smart in general. They just know how to work within an economic system that's a fraud. That's about it. Robert Davenport says, hit that like button, people. Please hit it. Please do click that join button and also click that thumbs up button. We cannot do this without you. I don't have a lot of thumbs up, even though I have a lot of people. So please click that thumbs up on YouTube, please. John Smith says, AVQ, no, as I actually work in the agriculture and know exactly what is going on that's causing the shortages, and it's not us, it's the government. Wow, if you work in agriculture and you say it's the government, that just tells me that you're either snowed, my friend, or you simply are completely and entirely, and I say this with respect, irrational. All right, let's see. Ting Ting says, shutting down the Keystone XL pipeline and mandatory jobs is why supplies are not being delivered. Prices will be higher just on those two consequences. Carl Cox says, Fox News and News, I don't believe that, but Fox News says, Newsmax are to America what the propaganda ministry was to the Nazi Germany. That's true. John Smith, I'm not blaming farmers and ranchers. I love farmers and ranchers. I just wish they would see who really support them. Right now, farmers and ranchers don't make the money. The ones who make the money are ADM, the processors and all of that. You guys, the farmers, you are just the slaves of the corporate structure. Even those of you who make the methanol, because you have these not corporations, these cooperatives where a lot of farmers put together to grow their corn and process their corn. That's the best way to do it. That's actually what's known as collectiveness, right? That's socialism sort of a way. A lot of farmers have done that, where they form different consortiums for milk or for corn. That is the way to go, and then you can have some price control. But you have to have enough of you so that the plutocracy cannot corner the market for you, my friend. Carl Cox says, corporate agriculture is the problem with America's supply, not the vanishing family farms, ranches. Michael Run saying, better to the derivatives market is a $600 quadrillion finance black hole. Exactly right, because it has nothing that it's based on. John Smith says, AVQ, for example, there is no monopolization in the meat packing part of the meat industry. That is absolutely false, and if you believe that, it gives me a concern. This is due to regulations from government blocking small competitive upstarts. That's a lie, complete lie. Daniel Lido says, you keep saying Democrats need to start telling the truth. Why are they not doing that already? Because we have a lot of neocons. Look it up. Neoliberal Democrats are no different than moderate Republicans who are there to save the plutocracy. And that is what we have. When we have somebody like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, or Cory Bush and others go out and tell the truth, they're oftentimes not even given the TV context that they can get, except when somebody wants to try to somehow make a fool out of them. I mean, they usually catch them anyway. But Ting Ting says, I do my own research and don't listen to Fox and MSNBC. If I did that, then I would believe in propaganda. All right, let's see. AVQ says, Ting Ting, those who say do your own research usually abhor mainstream media sources, but just make sure you don't replace mainstream news with conspiracy mills you search. Very good very good point there, El Senor Radnin. AVQ from John Smith. AVQ, no, because I'm a rancher and have to deal with the problem directly. Small butchers have gone out of business due to regulations. It's not due to regulations, it's due to monopoly. Understand, the monopolies control the politicians who then write the laws that throw you out of business. But then at the same time, you support the plutocracy that runs the government that actually causes and puts you out of business. You see the circular loop? That is what I've been trying to point out in this show. So actually, I want to apologize, Mr. Smith. I need to apologize that I just realized I need to apologize. Because you're right, Mr. Smith. And everybody that's listening to me here, in my speed of speech, I didn't go through the sequence that I need to go through for understanding. So I want to, when I said Mr. Smith lied, it's not quite true. Mr. Smith is simply misinformed in this manner. Let me explain. Mr. Smith is correct that it is hard for small meat packers and all of that to come into existence because of certain types of regulations, etc. He's absolutely right. What causes that? The corporatocracy, the big meat packers, the monopolists, they ensure that the congressmen, congresswomen that they own, that the senators that they own with the monies that they give to them, make sure that the laws are such that gives them the competitive advantage. That's why most of the subsidies, the farm subsidies, don't go to the individual farmers, but it actually, and I speak about that in one of my books, it doesn't go to the individual farmers, but it goes to those like ADM, etc. So from John Smith's perspective, it is government that is screwing him. What he has to see is that it is the plutocracy that is using the government to screw him. And that's why I must apologize to John, to let John, to give the sequence to Brother John. All right, let's continue. Ting Ting. But if I did not do my own research, then why would not be here listening to you? I like to hear other voices. Ting Ting. I love you, brother. Keep coming back because we're going to definitely agree on much. Given that you say you do your own research, you're going to see that much of what you research turns out to be the truth coming from what I say as well. Okay, continuing. Eric A says, yes, due to regulation and monopoly too, not only corporations, it is regulation. John Smith says, Dunning-Kruger effect, the inability to recognize one's own incompetence leading to inflated level of expertise. Actually, that doesn't apply to me because I ask questions and when I don't know, I say, just like, you know what? It defeats the purpose, right? Because you said the Kruger effect. I don't know if you're referring to me or somebody else. If you're referring to me, I would have tried to make up something for the Dunning-Kruger effect, something I knew nothing about till you taught me about it, John Smith. Thank you so kindly for enlightening my intellect. All right, Ting Ting says, too much regulation. John Smith says, if government wasn't enabled to make such regulations, then there wouldn't be monopolists to push further regulations. That's not true at all because those who own the money would operate the way they did back before unions. Remember, there was no government that forced the ability of unions to be created. So what private sector did then is they hired militias to blow those things apart, and that's why unions were not created. So sir, I need to inform you again. That's why it's good that you're here, brother. That's why it's good, because we can actually talk, we can actually learn together. John Smith says, break the circle of regulations. Hey, if it's the appropriate regulations. Maywood says, in quarantine came up positive, so in isolation. So you came up positive. You know, I have a little nose sniffle. I hope that is just a little nose sniffle, although that nose sniffle seemed to come from allergies in my case. I hope that's what it is. But if it's not, I will still be here doing politics done right as long as I'm not laying 6 feet under. Ting Ting, have a great day, my friends. Have to go feed my twins now. Hey, you have twins, Ting Ting? Man, congratulations, brother. You have a lot of work to do, and you better listen to me because the economy that I'm talking about, the economy that I want, is going to ensure that your twins have the type of life that they need to have so that they can be the best that they can be, so that they can have the type of life that is warranted to us all. I have another video. Have a great day, my friends. Have to go feed the twins, he says. No symptoms says you're asymptomatic. I think most people are asymptomatic. I think a lot of people have this stuff and don't know. In fact, I was telling folks that I think at the beginning of COVID, I think I got it, both myself and my mother, because we were really sick, but we didn't know what the hell we had. And that was in the very beginning of it, you know, but who knows if that's true or not. We don't know because we never got tested. I mean, there are a lot of diseases people get that they never get tested for, but they had it, their body cleans it out, and it's gone. Rufus Cross, welcome aboard. You are enlightening those of us why things are as they are. It's the flaws of capitalism. Hey, if you listen to my show today on KPFT 90.1 FM, go look at it. Go to KPF. Actually, I printed it at my site, politicsdoneright.com. Politicsdoneright.com. I'll have the KPFT show that I did today up on politicsdoneright.com later on, or you can go to kpft.org and listen to it there. Remember, if you're over there, give a contribution. You can do it at our site as well. Eric Hayes says, Egberto, we have all probably had it. I think you're right, brother Eric. I think you're absolutely right. Marcus Rodin says, Egberto might want to get tested now. Your body will retain the antibodies. Find out. Get some peace of mind. You know, the truth of the matter is my peace of mind always comes from how I feel, but you're absolutely correct, Senor Rodnin. You're absolutely correct. All right, I got about 1 minute left. Anybody wants to say anything before I finish this show? Speak now or forever, or hold your peace until Monday when we do it. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll just do a little quick video sometime this weekend. I don't know, but I want to thank you guys for coming here. Please remember to support the show. Go to politicsandright.com/support. politicsandright.com/support. Get my books, politicsandright.com/books. politicsandright.com/books. Let me go ahead and put those two links in there. politicsandright.com/books. There it is. And politicsandright.com/support. There it is. Please provide whatever support you can. He says, Michael Rodney says, catch you next week. I'll catch you next week. Rodney, and Ting Ting says, sorry, I'm female, but it's okay. Well, Ting Ting, how can you expect me to know that with a name like Ting Ting, my sister? All right, Ting Ting. I will know forever on now that you are female. Go take care of those twins and make sure those twins listen to Politics Done Right, because you know what? Even though they may not understand the words, the vibrations will get into them and they'll know what has to be done to make sure that we create that economy that is good for us all. Anyway, my name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.